I am the delight of God. I am the delight of God. I am the delight of God. How good it is to know that you are the love of God. Continue to say to yourself, I am the love of God. I am the love of God. I am God's delight. I am God's delight. I am God's delight. Inviting you to infuse yourself with this knowing, allowing for every blessing for your highest and greatest good to reach you now. Let's be willing in your mind's eye to allow for a transformation and a healing, a revelation and insight, health and wholeness, vitality and vigor, divine right order. Inviting you to breathe that in. Exhaling out anything and everything that's a lower frequency that no longer serves you. Inviting you to return to your normal breathing pattern. Becoming aware of this very moment in time and your place in this space. You may want to wiggle on the chair or the couch, wherever you're sitting, to be certain you can feel what is supporting you. You may want to tap the toes to the ground, being certain you can feel the ground supporting your feet. You may want to move your fingertips, and when you're ready in your own time, just allow for the outer eyes to open gently, becoming aware of your surroundings, feeling the air around you, sensing this moment in time and space, knowing that all is well, all is good. And so how grateful I am to each of you who has joined us for this morning's meditation service. I know that you are the love of God. You are God's delight. You are perfect, whole, and complete now and forevermore. Namaste.
Look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God and each other, yeah. look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in a sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, yeah, we come together. Oh, we come together, yeah, we come together. In the name of love.
My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners and a member of the board here at CSL Redlands. So we welcome you. Our theme for the month of April is stepping into the unknown. Wow. You got that covered? Oh, yeah. So whatever you do, whenever you're praying, as long as it's for your highest and best good, always add that on, because you don't want to step into the unknown unless, right, it's for your highest and best good. So that is some deep monthly theme, right? So we're an open and inclusive community that honors all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths, including no spiritual path, right? I think if you're alive, you're on a path. So no matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. So our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And our vision is a world that works for everyone. So if you're here with us for the first time, I want you to raise your hand. I think I've seen everybody before, right? Everybody in the sanctuary is here. So at home, if you're here with us for the first time on Zoom or YouTube or our Facebook page, raise your hand at home. And we welcome you. And we love you. So now, if you're in the Zoom room, we invite you to unmute. And you can say hi to the people who are in the sanctuary if we are near the camera. Can they see us from the camera? We can all just wave. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I see Becky. Hi, Becky. Hi, Frankie.
Hi.
Who else is over there? Oh, the joys of technology. So, did we all say hi? We said hi.
Frankie's here.
All right, good. So we welcome everybody who's watching remotely on Zoom. And if you're watching on one of our live streams, we welcome you and know that right where you are, God is. And so now here's Gilman Carver with our centering music.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, one spirit is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room, in this very room, in this very room.
And so now I simply invite you to turn within with me, however that's comfortable for you. You may just want to allow for your outer eye to close, outer eyes to close. And as you do, allow for your inner eye, your spiritual eye to open, seeing the truth, seeing that indeed God is everywhere present and right where I am, that God is everywhere present and right where you are. And if you would just join me in saying that, God is everywhere present and right where I am. And it is from this place of unity and oneness that I speak this word, knowing that anything and everything that's for your highest and best good is available to you right here and right now with no delay in this place, in this space, in this very room. And so I call forth this Sunday celebration service as a time of transformation. It's fertile ground for healing and revelation, insight, wisdom, for divine knowledge, capital D, capital K, so that everything and anything that's needed for your very soul's perfect transmutation to a higher level of beingness is provided right here and right now. And there's no mistake for those who have found us online at this very time, no matter if it's a replay or as we are speaking, as I am speaking this word live. It is perfect. It is in divine timing. It is in divine order. And so I know that you are the love of God. I know that you are God's delight. And just say with me, I am the love of God. I am God's delight. Yes. And so it is from this place that I speak a word for this service to unfold with ease and with grace, with joy and with celebration, with a revelation and insight, allowing for the highest and greatest to unfold. I know that our beautiful senior minister, that she is the mouthpiece for God this day, that Reverend Carrie Masters has stepped forth to her highest and greatest yet to be, and so she is provided, maintained, fulfilled, and sustained by the grace and love and knowledge and insight and wisdom of pure spirit, and shares that with ease, with grace, and with great confidence and knowingness that will uplift this entire community and indeed our entire planet. And so how good it is to know that all of your needs are met right here and right now. So I call forth perfect abundance and wealth and cash and money, divine right relationships for romance and family. See that in your mind's eye now. Are you willing to accept it? If so, just say yes. Divine right work, divine right housing. Everything flowing in order and in harmony and in good. And anything and everything that doesn't match the highest and greatest, just simply releasing it with ease and with grace, just like the shower or bath water goes down the drain, never again to surface and reappear, and instead to be replaced with your next breath. Let's breathe it together, the breath of God. And we release anything with our exhale that no longer serves us. And as we return to normal breathing, we see how close God is at hand to us. It is our very essence and core and nature. And so we return to our normal breathing. Grateful for our heartbeat, grateful for our health, grateful for our wellness, grateful for our joy, grateful for the knowing that we are the love of God, grateful for the knowing that we are God's delight. And so let's just join together as a spiritual community now to send this love and light intelligence. Just see it blow through the rooftop of this sanctuary space to the entire world. Wherever there's a need, let it be met with God's grace right here and right now. Let supplies meet those. Let food meet those. Let housing meet those who are in most need right here and right now. Let there be peace on earth right here and right now. Just see it in your mind's eye. Where there's struggle and there's strife, let there be peace, grace, surrender. There's plenty of supply around the world for all needs to be met. See that in your mind's eye now and lift it and raise that vibration for the highest and best good for all concerned. For indeed, a world that works for everyone is the mission. And we must each take that part within us to move our feet to be what is ours to do. So seeing this, feeling this, knowing this, my heart is just filled with gratitude for being allowed the honor of speaking today's word, knowing this service continues to be magnificent, continues to unfold with grace and order and ease and harmony and joy. Are you with me?
Yes.
If so, just say yes.
Yes.
And together we say, and so it is. All right. Thank you, everybody. And so the reading was selected from Science of Mind magazine, January of 2001, page 10. You ready to take this in? If you'd like to close your outer eye, you can just take it in deeper. We generally seem to resist change, even that which is better for us. We also appear to resist being what we really are. We need to learn carefully and surely to permit ourselves to accept the fuller expression of the mind that is within us. Against this, there must be no resistance, for in its creative flow through us rests our entire future, the greater person we may be, and the richer life we desire to enjoy. When we establish within our thought a non-resistance to that power which is greater than we are at the same time accepting within ourselves a stability that is the stability of the universe. We find ourselves secure, for we know that we are part of that which causes change, but is never affected by any of the changes. We'll go to the video now.
Hello, I am Edward Fillion. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in his final Easter message, talked about that great hope and expectation that we have that we shall continue to live in whatever form is appropriate to the next phase of our existence. He believed that whatever it is that makes us alive and aware and awake in this life shall continue beyond the grave. He taught us that our consciousness is a permanent part of our being, and some call that the soul. Now, although Dr. Holmes clearly had confidence that we shall continue as part of eternity, he encouraged us to live the best life we are capable of living today, not to let our focus on the future life rob us of the experience of living today, in this world, in this body, in whatever experience we are going through. And that's something powerful to consider, especially while we are navigating, sheltering in place, and preparing in consciousness to be together. We're stepping out into the unknown together. And I'm asking myself, how can I stay in the present moment and honor that which lives in me, while at the same time asking what newness wants to come alive in me, in us, in our families, in our nation, and on our planet. During the aftermath of September 11 in New York, the students of Swami Satchidananda gathered and asked, what could they do? And apart from the instruction to help as we can, he said something very interesting. He said, know this, that our finite human minds cannot understand or take in the impact or reach of our prayer or loving intention. So don't forget to do that, even while you and I are preparing to step into the greater yet to be and making plans. Don't forget, because we may not be able to conceive of or understand the reach and impact of our prayer practice, or do it, in other words. Don't wait for things to get better for you to share what beauty is inside of you now. Don't wait for love in some future time. Don't hope for freedom later. Don't wish for peace to come, but instead let those qualities of love and freedom and peace be alive in you right now, today. After all, think of it, someone very near to you is waiting for that. Maybe it's you yourself. Someone close to you is counting on that. I'm confident that when we turn to these qualities and accept them in our consciousness as the truth of who we are, that's when they come back to life in this world today through us. It is customary at Centers for Spiritual Living at Easter time for some centers to celebrate eternal life as something we are living right now that is continually resurrecting itself. My colleague, Dr. Margaret Stortz, writes about resurrection in a very practical and personal way, saying, well, there's a resurrection every morning when we wake up. We're engaging in a kind of ongoing resurrection practice, and she invites us to remember that every time we wake up, there are awaiting possibilities. And so why not let each day's resurrection hold real meaning by being mindful of what lives in us and how we wish to bring that alive, into how we wish to wake that up in the world. You know, what we are living through right now is calling us both to release some of those things that no longer serve us, and also to imagine what we want to rise up into. And appropriately, April's suggested theme is stepping into the unknown. And week one's topic is the path less traveled, and week 2 is the winds of change, and week 3's topic requires some explanation. It's blessitation. Blessitation, that's the paradoxical feeling of blessings and hesitations that often accompanies the moment when we step out into the unknown. Blessitation. And then the final week is about stepping out and stepping up. Let me close with something Joseph Campbell said. We must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. My blessings to you.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, it's blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look look up before he can see the sky. Yes, and how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, the answer, my friend, it is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Thank you so much, Gilman. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that you're all here with us this morning. I want to read you an email that our church received this week from Home Office, from the staff at Home Office, who get together every morning for prayer in the Hefferland Chapel. Now, there's a chapel at Home Office, and it's named after Mr. and Mrs. Hefferland, who were significant beneficiaries to religious science. The email says this: Dear Reverend Carrie and the Center for Spiritual Living Redlands, the staff from the Centers of Spiritual Living Home Office will be praying for you this week at our morning prayer. We will remember and celebrate you, your center, and all your community. We are grateful for your service and all that you do to make the world to make a world that works for everyone. They get together every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. in the Hefferland Chapel for prayer, and each week a center is picked for them to pray on. So I just wanted you to know that our Home Office organization is praying for our center and praying for other centers for spiritual living around the world, which brings me to the reminder that on the seat where you're probably sitting, there is or was a prayer request form. And you can complete this form, fold it in half, and put it in the bowl with your offering. And we will send your request to the practitioners in our center, and they will pray for you for a week. This is our service to all of you, and we love to do prayer, right? Yes, we love to do prayer. So if you have a request, please let us know. So this morning, we're talking about the winds of change, which is the second step in our theme of stepping into the unknown. And stepping into the unknown really isn't something that is very new to all of us, because when we wake up in the morning, don't we always step into the unknown of a new day? Of course. So we also know that during this past year, we have been moving in an unknown territory. It's sort of like the universe said, let's take a time out and make everyone stop and pay attention. And so we did. We stopped. We paid attention. And now we're getting ready to come out of our time out. And we're beginning to step into a new way of doing life in certain respects. We certainly have a new way of doing church here, and so do many other churches, but we have a new sense of hope. I'm feeling a sense of hope around the world. Now, last month, we focused on the idea of visioning, of catching the highest idea for our life. And when we catch that vision, when something comes to us in a visioning session, what happens is we get to move toward that by taking action, by becoming that vision. And when we take action, we begin to step into unknown territory. And it brings on change. And our human bodies really don't like change. Have you ever noticed that? We're kind of like, ugh. But in this life, as spiritual beings having a human experience, or the other way around, being spiritual beings, being humans, having this spiritual experience, we are called to embrace change. We are called to embrace transformation and newness. You might have noticed all of this throughout the past year, but we'll continue to notice it as we move forward into the newness that's coming forward in our world. The contributor for the outline for this Sunday's talk is a minister in Geneva, Switzerland. She's with the Centers for Spiritual Living in Geneva. She wrote this. She said, on Lake Leman, near Geneva in Switzerland, situated between the Alps and the Jura Mountains, there are more than 70 different winds. On the days when there is very little wind, sailors scan the calm lake looking for ripples on the water. When they find the ripples, they move in that direction, head toward all of that disturbance, and then their sails fill up and they're able to receive the power that will get them to their destination swiftly. Those who are most successful in reaching their destination are the ones that head for the disturbances. They head for that turbulence on the water. You see, sometimes, most of the time, turbulence in our life can bring about a change for us. It's like a demand in changing direction so that we can move more swiftly into the newness that's there for us. I'm a fan of Father Richard Rohr, who is a Jesuit priest. I read his blogs and I subscribe to the daily blogs that he sends out. And one of them that he wrote says, I welcome all thoughts, feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. Wow, all. He welcomes all of that. He says, it is in these moments that we are broken open and can release the blockages in our lives. Otherwise, we hold on to them with resistance. When we become resistant to the turbulence in our lives, we actually make it stick to us because we are resisting it because we're thinking about it all the time, which keeps it in our experience. I know of a family who were recently, there was a fire at their home, not any fault of their own, and their home had to be red tagged, and like that, they were homeless. And I noticed that as they moved through the whole experience, they were resisting the idea of having to leave their home. Well, I would too. I wouldn't want to leave. But the home had to be red tagged. They had to leave. And so they did. And what's happening now is I see them welcoming, kind of embracing what's happening to them right now. And so their whole demeanor has become lighter. When we become less resistant to turbulence and flow with it, we are guided toward insights and growth that allow us to move up higher in vibration so that we can live our life in this new direction, in the higher idea. There was a story that I heard this week about a man who was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's. And he went to a conference and he spoke to the woman, one of the women who presented at the conference, and she asked him about his Alzheimer's. What was that like for him? And he said, you know, I've come to realize that it's sort of like the leaves dropping from the trees in the fall. It is just happening. She was so impressed by that, but then he went on to say this. He said, I'm an experienced meditator. I was invited to teach a meditation practice at a rather large conference, and I stepped out onto the stage, and my mind went blank. I didn't know why all of those people were there. There were like 100 people in the audience. He said, I didn't know why they were staring at me. I didn't know why I was there. And he said, then I paused. You know, just that right there, if we will just take a moment to just stop in the midst of something like that. And here's what came to him. He decided to name and experience the feelings that he was having. And he also decided that he was going to welcome those experiences into his experience right then. And so he would name it, and then he would bow in a sense of acceptance. And so all he did was say this: confused, embarrassed, afraid, heart pounding, breathing, relaxing. And then he said to the audience, I'm so sorry. And a person stood up in the audience and said, please don't be sorry. No one has ever shared the teachings in that way. Yeah. What we resist persists. Had he decided to kind of cover up what was going on with him, it would have probably made matters worse. And his presentation would not have been nearly as impactful. But he chose to recognize the blockages that were there. He chose to acknowledge them and welcome them. And what happened was he went from confused and embarrassed to breathing and relaxing. It's like they dissipate when we accept what's going on. This is a power that is within us. This is what Ernest Holmes talked about. Change your thinking, change your life. We've heard that once or twice before, haven't we? And when we change the way we accept what's going on in our life, we change our life. Oftentimes there are upsets. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, we all have upsets. And there are times when we have to move through the whole idea that there is disorder and then order and then reorder. No, it's disorder, reorder, and then order. And we need to go through that many times when things are going on in our life. Take, for example, moving from one house to the other. Oy vey. It is disorder, isn't it? And then there's reorder, and then there's order. This is the way the universe works. I remember an example that Deepak Chopra talked about. When you look from above down onto the floor of Grand Central Station, it looks like all of these people are just going in random directions, but each person has a direction that they're going in. It looks like disorder, but it's really order. So if we can look at things that are disturbances in our lives and realize that the disorder is actually the order that is propelling us forward into something new. So that means that if we're going to be angry at someone, that produces disorder within us, doesn't it? It's kind of a little, it's turbulence. It's air turbulence within us and our thought turbulence. And so if we stay in that anger, that creates disorder. But when we allow ourselves to really hear that we are thinking angry thoughts, if we notice what we're noticing about that anger and just welcome it in for a moment and just breathe there, and then notice the next thought and welcome that and breathe that in. This is a way that we can move through a change in our life, a change in the world. This is how we can do that. Now, Richard Rohr also says this. He says, generally, we must be taken to happiness. We cannot find our way there by willpower or cleverness, yet we all try, usually heading in the wrong direction. Or we can just relax and flow with what is happening. I was talking to a girlfriend one day, and she explained that she had gone swimming and found herself in the deep end of the pool where she never goes and couldn't touch bottom and began to panic. And she told me her arms were flailing all around and she wasn't quite sure what to do, and she was gasping for air. And then she remembered, relax. And she floated to the top. Yeah. So there's one more story I want to tell you about the minister who wrote the notes for this week's talk. Her name is Reverend Beth Linguiri, again with the CSL in Geneva, Switzerland. She experienced what felt like a heart attack. And at the hospital, they ran all of the tests. They kept her overnight for observation, of course. But it was really scary for her, and the fear that she felt really gripped her. And so she was in that grip of fear, but knew about welcoming the disturbance in your life. And so she said, it took me about 5 minutes to come to the realization that I was in fear. And so I just felt that for a moment. And then I thought of gratitude. She said, I began to have gratitude for everything. The doctors, the nurses, every hospital worker, her husband who was sitting by her bedside holding her hand, she thanked him. And then she thanked the experience of the heart attack for putting her where she could have this aha moment. When she did that, she began to relax. And her heart was beating at a normal rhythm. She noticed that. And the next day when the doctors came in, they said to her, well, you know, we saw something so different at first than what is going on with you now. So you've probably just had indigestion. Yeah. Well, what she knew was that all she had to do was relax, and she would float to the top, to the higher vibration of what it is that we can do, to our most magnificent life. So this week, here's our spiritual practice. To welcome everything into our life, recognize the blockages and the disappointments maybe as opportunities, and surrender to that normal process of disorder, reorder, and order. That propels us to a newness that we couldn't even imagine before all of the disorder. And embrace change with openness, with curiosity, with gratitude, and renewed commitment to the divine idea for the life that we are living, that we caught in that visioning process. So we're going to welcome everything. We're going to surrender to that normal process of disorder and reorder and order. And we're going to embrace change with openness and with gratitude and with curiosity. Do you think we can do that this week? Yeah. All right, wonderful. I have a poem that I want to share with you by Dr. Prashant Bhatt. It says this: Winds of change. When I go to bed and close my eyes at night, disappointment strikes and I'm impaled by hate and fight. I wake up in the dream, my hopes go astrange. I look up to the heavens and plead for winds of change. Hovering clouds of doubt reveal a ray of light. A brighter sun will shine after the darkest night. I shed off despair to let my thoughts rearrange and brace up for the challenge to blow the winds of change. I wake up in the morning and the sun is shining bright. My heart is full of zeal. I've focus of a kite. I pledge for love and peace, seek nothing in exchange. That's how I will strive to sail the winds of change. Our affirmation for this week is this: Today, I welcome and embrace change with openness and gratitude. I am grateful for the gift of my magnificent life. I'll say a bit and then you can repeat after me. Today, I welcome and embrace change. Today, I welcome and embrace change. With openness and curiosity. I am grateful for the gift of my magnificent life. And so it is. Yes. Thank you.
I was working in Japan in 1996. Band, bless the beast and the children. I was working in Japan in 1996, playing bass with a Carpenter's tribute band, bless the beast and the children. And in my free time, I met two young kids playing a guitar. They sang some songs in Japanese, then I sang some songs in English, and we went back and forth for about 20 or 30 minutes. Then eventually they sang this song by John Lennon, and I realized those were the only words they knew in English. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us, and the world will live as one.
Okay, thank you very much, Gilman. So I have some announcements. A new class is beginning soon. Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. It begins on Tuesday, May 4th at 6:30 p.m. This is a 5-week course where you will learn how to apply science of mind principles, practices, and methods to enhance your life in 3 areas: relationships, prosperity, health. Are you ready? All right. Tuition is $170 and can be paid in 2 installments. To register for the class, please contact Reverend Carrie. The email is R-E-V Carrie, C-A-R-R-I-E, at cslredlands.org. So Wednesday nights, if you haven't yet joined us, from 7 to 8 p.m., is a beautiful meditation and inspirational message provided by Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. She's one of our licensed practitioners. And so you can watch it on Facebook Live or on YouTube. If you haven't joined the YouTube channel, how many have here? Okay, so I see 5 people who can join. Guess what? I think we have, what do we have, like around 46? We need 100. We have like 46. And we have like 1,200 people who follow us on our Facebook page. So can we get like 60 more people to go? How do they do that, David? cslredlands.org/YouTube. Is it /? Yeah. cslredlands.org/YouTube. And just hit subscribe. We would greatly appreciate that. When we get over 100, we get our own channel. Woo! So the sanctuary is now open Sunday mornings so that we can enjoy Sunday service in person. I guarantee you it's much more powerful, impactful, and fun in person. Am I right? I liked watching it online too. I like being in my pajamas. I like, not having to shower and shave and being a big bum. But I'm inviting everybody to start coming back. It's part of life. It's part of embracing the unknown. We could creepy crawly out of our house now and start coming back in person. It's time we open the front doors again and have a full service in person. So I believe the governor in California has set a target date, June 15, for the possible reopening of California. Could you imagine having to reinstall that? All of California uploading. So we want you to join us in person as well when you're feeling comfortable to do that. So in order to be comfortable, I'm going to do my own personal opinion. Get vaccinated. Come on. So I'm going to say this. I don't know how we know who is and who isn't. Are we going to wear a bindi? But the point is this. Let's think about this. And I've been trying to think about this. Here's some facts from the news from today. 23% of the whole United States has been fully vaccinated. That's pretty low. 35% of the United States has had at least one shot. And yesterday, at least 4.6 million vaccines were administered. That's pretty good for one day. So, without getting political, I've been thinking about this. And I'm thinking, I would like to offer hugs today. I'm going to offer hugs because tomorrow's my 2 weeks after my second vaccine. So let's test. Let's see if it works. So for those who didn't like me very much, come give me a hug and we'll see if it works. What's that?
Can we take a rain check on that?
Yeah, you could take a rain check on the hug. And so I think what we'll probably do this. Like if somebody goes to give you a hug and you're not ready, you could just go like that. Or if it's me. So are you feeling what I'm saying? Yeah. So how are we ever going to return to a normal life unless the numbers increase and increase and increase, right? So if anybody's feeling hesitant or you'd like to discuss it, call me, call any of the practitioners. We'll listen. We're trained listeners. How's that sound? And then for those that are watching remotely, stay where you are and join us in Zoom for the Zoom room. We gather around the camera, say hello for a few minutes, and then we'll have our board meeting at 12 o'clock. It's on Zoom. So don't forget, for those who are obligated to join that, stand by for that. Okay? Thank you all. And now the offering, the intro, and affirmation. So Reverend Carrie.
All right. Thank you for those great announcements. So this is the time for our offering. This is the time when we check in with ourselves to see how spiritually fed we have been at this center so that we can give back in like manner. And when we give, we activate the law of circulation, which is, of course, as we give, so we receive, and vice versa. So today I invite you to give your gift with a great deal of love. No matter how you give, by the donate buttons on Facebook or the website, by using Venmo, or using Zelle, or PayPal even, or you can even write a check. I haven't written a check in years. You could write a check and mail it to our center, or you can bring it with you to Sunday service and put it in the bowl, or when you're driving by through the week, you can slip it in our secure mailbox. So let's take our offering and put it over our heart and repeat the offering affirmation with me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And here's Gilman.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so
Thank you, Gilman. And thanks to all of you for supporting this wonderful Center for Spiritual Living. We really do appreciate and bless your gifts. And so we're going to move into the time for our closing healing prayer. And our practitioner is standing over there to help raise the vibration. So I'm going to invite all of us to close our outer eyes and open wide our inner spiritual eyes to recognize the divine presence that is truly all there is in the universe. This divine presence is unconditional love. It is absolute peace. It is absolute perfection, joy, wisdom. And I know that this presence is everywhere. It is all-knowing, all-wise. It is that presence that creates all of life out of itself on this planet and throughout the universe. I know that this presence has created the life that I am and the life that we are. I know that we are created from the image and likeness of that divine one, and that image is love, pure, bright, light, love, perfection. We are created in that image. And so I speak my word for each one of us here in the sanctuary, on Zoom, online. I speak my word right here and right now to know the truth for each one of us, that we are whole and perfect right here in this moment. In every moment of our life, every breath we take is that breath of life that reveals the truth of us. And the truth is that we are wholeness. We are perfect health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We are unconditional love. I know for each one of us that we express these qualities of God. We express this wholeness by caring for our body temple, by nourishing it with good food and sound sleep, playful activity, exercise, and quiet contemplation. I know that we are blessed with the guidance that we receive from this inner guidance system that is the divine, and it moves us forward to take action, to move forward into the life that we are meant to be living in this moment on this planet. I know that each of us is a blessing to the world. We are a blessing to our family, to ourselves. Therefore, we are a blessing to the world. I speak my word this morning for all people who find themselves living in a time of turbulence, disruption, disappointment. And I know for all of these people that disruption and disturbance, that disappointments, are all leading them into a more magnificent life, a life that they live from a higher vibration of absolutely knowing the truth about themselves. I know for every person on this planet, there is perfect shelter, a perfect home. I know for every person on this planet, there is equality. Oh, equality and love, acceptance. being embraced by all people. I speak my word to know that every person within a financial challenge is lifted up into the higher vibration of abundance and overflowing money, supply, substance. All of it is theirs in this moment. And so I know that there is only abundance, and it is equally shared throughout the planet, throughout every person. And I know that every child is fed, every family is fed. There is food and more food for all. And I know that there is perfect education for all. I know there is a world that works for all people and works perfectly, abundantly, lovingly, joyfully. And I speak my word this morning for this Center for Spiritual Living. I know that we continue to rise to a higher vibration and attract all of those who are ready for our teaching, who are ready to know the truth about themselves and to speak that truth and to live that truth. And so I know that all who are attracted to us come into our sanctuary, see us online, on Zoom, wherever it is. We know that they are blessed and we are blessed by their presence. Oh, I give thanks. I give deep, heartfelt thanks that all of the words that I have spoken are already in the mind and the heart of the infinite. They're already ready to propel out into the world so that we can see and touch and feel the change that is taking place. I am so grateful for the divine creative process that we call the law, that always says yes to everything we speak into it, and we speak into it every time we speak. And I know that this law is producing and blessing us with all that needs to take place in order for these words to be manifest. And so in my deepest gratitude, with my heart overflowing with thanksgiving, I release these words into the law, and I release and I let go and I let God do its perfect work through each one of us. And so I simply let it be, and we can anchor it by saying, and so it is. Yes, amen. Thank you for joining me in that. Here's Gilman with our closing song.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. And let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
All right. And so now it's time for Zoom Room Fellowship. If you are feeling up to it, in the sanctuary, you could stay, and as you're leaving, wave to the camera, or if you want to engage in anybody online. And if you're online, let's put your camera on and see if you did your hair. Let me see what you look like, people. And start coming back to service, right? Let's get it going. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.
What happened to your hug?
Right here. You have to approach me. You must approach for the hug.